Got a little thought on me today. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. I'm just going to start reading and then I'll get into what my thought is. It's Paul writing to the Corinthians here. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it may depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distress for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So Paul's facing something here, something really bothered him. It was the messenger of Satan. There was just a poke and prod him. He had a thorn in his flesh. He prayed for God to take that from him. It says 3 times he besought him that he might depart that from him. God didn't take it from him. God left him with it. That way he could realize his real strength comes when he's weak, because he has to rely on God then. Because if we ain't really got something bothers sometimes, when something bothers you, where do you go? Most times you go to the Lord with it. That's going to strengthen your relationship with him. If things don't bother you, sometimes it's, when we get real close to God, when things are going wrong, we want to draw nigh to him, okay? Lord, please help me with this. Please fix this for me. Please give me this. Please heal this, whatever case may be. And then when he does that, we drift away from him. He didn't remove that thorn in his flesh. He kept it there. He kept it there. That way he would always be reminded to look up to God. He's not always going to remove things for your life. Jesus himself wanted the cup removed from him. God left him with it because it had to happen. It had to happen. Look at little David. Before he slain Goliath there, he'd fought a lion before and a bear before. Now, in that moment, that lion was the biggest thing he'd ever fought. Then that bear became the biggest thing he'd ever fought. God was preparing him at that point to fight Goliath. He didn't know that. God knew that. He didn't know that. So I guess really my thought today, friend, is if you're in a position that you're not comfortable in right now, or you're fighting a battle, be thankful that you're fighting that battle, because God may be preparing you for something far greater than what you can see right now. Because he always knows what's going on. He knows his ways are not our ways. His ways are higher than our ways. He's got it all figured out in the end, the long run. We just got to be obedient, stay in the Word, and rely on him. Stay in constant prayer. Listen, you ain't got to get on your hands and knees every time you pray. The Bible tells me that fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Should be in constant prayer with him. If he's your buddy, you can talk to him. You ain't got to get all formal all the time. Just stay in constant prayer. Keep your mind on the things from above, and the things down here ain't going to bother you as bad. But also keep in mind that God sometimes puts you places so you can prosper from that. And that's not no kind of prosperity gospel. The prosperity gospel in the Bible, serve God and good things will happen for you. That's all the prosperity you're going to get from me. It ain't going to, if you're doing it just for riches or whatever else, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You should do it because he died for you. And you owe him that. It's your sacrifice to him. Living your life. You got to die to yourself to live for him. That's not the point of this. The point of this today is just for somebody out there that's hurt and going through something, is facing a problem that seems monumental to them. The problem that David saw in the lion and the bear was the biggest things he'd ever faced until something bigger come along. But that those small battles were preparing him for the big battle. So if you're going through something today, friend, God's trying to mold you. He's trying to mold you for something far greater than you can even fathom. Just like Paul here, he kept Paul humble through the thorn in his flesh, because that's what he said here. At least I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations given to me, a thorn in the flesh. They did that to keep him humble. Sometimes we get too big for our britches sometimes, and God has to humble us. And that's what happened to Paul. He got humbled and he realized where he was and how little power he had in his own self. For when he was weak, then he was strong. Because he said here, will I rather glory in my infirmities? Well, I won't sit here and pout about it. Or should I just go ahead and glory in the power of Christ that rests upon him? He turned to Christ and realized that he was God's. God had chose him and he was God's. And it didn't matter what happened in this old earth. He had an eternity waiting for him, an inheritance paid by the Most High. Jesus paid a price that he didn't know because you couldn't pay it, friend. If he don't do nothing else for you, he died for you. That's more than you deserved. But I love you and God loves you.